At a work conference, I spotted my fiancé holding hands with his boss. Curious, I followed them into an elevator and watched as they kissed. The moment the doors opened, I walked up and whispered, "Having fun?" They jumped apart. My fiancé stammered, "Babe, it's not what it looks like." His boss gasped, "You said you were single." I pulled out my engagement ring and said, "Guess he lied to both of us." The conference ended with a bang, and a public scandal. So this happened not too long ago and I'm still shaking thinking about it. I, 32 female, was engaged to someone I truly thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. His name is Alex, 34 male, and we've been together for 5 years. We met through mutual friends at a barbecue in Austin, Texas. He was smart, charming, a little awkward but in a cute way. He had a dry sense of humor, and he made me feel safe. We moved in together after 2 years. Got engaged after 4. I thought we were solid. We both work in the marketing industry, different companies but similar circles. So when both our companies announced we'd be attending the same annual marketing conference in Chicago, I was genuinely excited. It felt like the best of both worlds, work and a little getaway with my fiancé. The conference was at McCormick Place, this massive, overwhelming center that feels like a small city. We flew out on separate flights because our companies booked our travel, but we planned to meet for dinner the first night. Everything seemed normal. But it started going off the rails on the second day. That morning, he texted me saying he had back-to-back meetings and lunch with his team, so we'd probably see each other later at one of the networking mixers. I said okay, didn't think much of it. I went about my schedule, attended a couple of speaker sessions, and around 2 p.m. I decided to take a break and grab a coffee. I went down to the lower-level cafe, and as I was sipping my overpriced latte and scrolling through emails, I looked up. And there he was. Alex. With a woman. At first, I smiled. Thought, oh cool, he's done with meetings. Then I saw them holding hands. Not just a friendly pat on the shoulder or some casual touch. Fingers laced. The kind of hold you only do when you feel close, intimate. It took a second for my brain to register what I was seeing. I sat there frozen, trying not to drop my coffee. I didn't recognize the woman at first. She was tall, wore a sleek navy pantsuit, long dark hair tied in a low ponytail. She looked polished, confident, like someone used to being in control. They were laughing, and he leaned in like he was whispering something in her ear. She laughed again and touched his chest. His hand stayed on the small of her back. I followed them. I know how that sounds. But I had to know. I had to see for myself if it was really what I thought. They walked toward the elevators near the north wing. I kept my distance, pretending to be on my phone. I watched them step into the elevator together. The doors were about to close, and I darted into the one next to theirs. I pressed the same floor. When I got to the floor, it was quiet. Just some meeting rooms, nobody around. I walked slowly, trying not to make noise. And there they were, in the hallway. Alone. Still holding hands. Then they kissed. It wasn't a quick peck. It was long. Familiar. Intimate. That was the moment I felt something inside me break. I wasn't even angry yet. I was just numb. Like my body had been dropped into ice water. I don't know what came over me, but I walked up to them, slow, steady. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just walked up and said quietly, "Having fun?" They both jumped back like they'd been electrocuted. His face, I'll never forget it. Mouth open, eyes wide. Caught. No way out. "Babe, it's not what it looks like," he said. The woman. She looked from him to me, confused. "You said you were single," she said, her voice sharper now, accusing. I took off my glove and held up my hand. My engagement ring caught the overhead light. Guess he lied to both of us. There was silence. Just the low hum of the building around us. He tried to speak again, but I cut him off. How long? He rubbed his face like that would help, then said, a couple months. I nodded. Just once. My heart was hammering but my hands were steady. She looked furious. You told me you were single, she repeated, this time louder. Jesus Christ, Alex. He looked like he was about to cry. I didn't care. She your boss? I asked. He nodded. So that made it worse. Not only was he cheating, but he was doing it with someone who could literally fire him. I turned to walk away. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to cry in front of him. I didn't want to hear excuses. He reached out and grabbed my wrist. Please, wait, I yanked it away. Don't. Just. Don't. I walked back to my hotel room. My phone was blowing up. Texts from him. Voicemails. A couple of missed calls from an unknown number, probably her. I ignored them all. I locked the door and sat on the edge of the bed and finally let myself cry. Ugly crying. The kind that hurts your chest. I cried until I felt hollow. Then I opened my laptop and started writing this. Because I didn't know what else to do with the pain. I'll update later. I don't know what happens next. Right now I just know I saw the man I was supposed to marry kissing someone else while I was still wearing the ring he gave me. And she had no idea I even existed. But she does now. I barely slept that night. My phone buzzed every couple of minutes. Texts. Missed calls. Some from Alex. Some from numbers I didn't recognize. At one point, I put it on airplane mode and just stared at the ceiling. I kept hearing her voice, you said you were single. I kept replaying that kiss. The way he touched her face. The way they looked at each other. That wasn't a fling. That was a thing. The next morning, I skipped the early seminars. I didn't want to see anyone. Especially not him. I grabbed some room service and tried to hold it together, but around 10 a.m., my phone rang again, this time from an office number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to pick up. Hi, is this my name? Yes. This is Marla from the HR department at Alex's company name. I understand you were present during an incident involving one of our employees yesterday. My stomach dropped. Excuse me? I said. You mean Alex? There was a pause. She cleared her throat. We're aware of an interaction between Mr. Alex's last name and a senior staff member during company hours in a conference setting. We were informed by a third party that there may have been inappropriate conduct. I blinked. Someone reported it? Why are you calling me? The situation has escalated quickly. The senior staff member involved, his supervisor, has been placed on immediate administrative leave pending investigation. We were hoping you could confirm some details. Off the record. Off the record. Right. I suddenly realized what was happening. So now I'm part of an HR investigation? Only if you choose to be. But it would help clarify things. Especially for your fiancé. Or ex-fiancé, I suppose? The word hit me like a slap. I hadn't even said it out loud yet. I agreed to talk. Mostly because I was still in shock and wanted someone, anyone, to hold him accountable. I told them what I saw. I didn't sugarcoat it. I didn't add drama either. I just said what I saw with my own eyes. They said thank you and ended the call. Just like that. Less than 10 minutes later, Alex was at my door. He looked like crap. Eyes puffy, hair a mess, suit wrinkled. He had his phone in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other. I didn't open the door all the way. Just enough to talk through it. Please, he said. Just let me explain. What could you possibly say that would make any of this okay? I asked. She meant nothing to me. You kissed her like she meant everything. He stepped back, like I'd hit him. It was a mistake. 4 months? I asked. She thought you were single, Alex. He rubbed his face again. That move was getting old. I didn't plan for this to happen. It just did. It started at a retreat a few months ago. One night. Then another. Then it just kept going. And I was what, your backup plan? He didn't answer. That silence was the loudest thing he could have said. Then came the real twist. She told HR I manipulated her, he said suddenly. She told them I said she forced it. What? I blinked. Wait, are you serious? She threw me under the bus. Said it was all me. That she didn't know I was engaged. That I seduced her. HR thinks I violated some kind of ethics rule. I couldn't help but laugh. Not because it was funny, but because it was just so absurd. The same woman who had her tongue down his throat yesterday was now pretending she was the victim? Welcome to the fallout, I said. You lied to both of us. Now neither of us are protecting you. He stepped closer. Please. Don't let this ruin everything. We can fix this. I'll quit. I'll go to counseling. We can start over. I stared at him. This man cheated on me. Lied to me. Lied to her. Lied to his job. And now that everything was falling apart, he wanted me to save him? I closed the door in his face. Then I locked it. And sat down on the hotel floor, trying to breathe. I thought the worst part was catching him kissing her. Turns out the worst part is realizing that the person you loved is capable of looking you in the eye after all that and still trying to make himself the victim. I don't know what comes next. But something tells me this scandal isn't done unraveling yet. So, after I closed the door on Alex, I thought that would be the last time I saw him during the conference. I figured he'd stay out of sight and deal with whatever fallout was coming from HR. I was wrong. That night, I got a text from a number I didn't know. I opened it, and it was a photo of Alex, at the bar in the hotel lobby. Sitting with another woman. Not his boss. Someone else. She was leaning into him. His hand was on her knee. No caption. Just the photo. My first thought was, is this a joke? Is this old? I stared at the screen for 5 full minutes, trying to make sense of it. Then a second message came in. You don't know me, but I thought you should see this. My name is Nina. I replied instantly. Who are you and why are you sending me this? She said she saw my post on a private Facebook group about the conference. Apparently I had vented in a women's marketing circle. No names, just vague details. She put 2 and 2 together when she recognized him. Then she dropped the bomb. He proposed to my friend 6 months ago. She called it off 3 weeks later. Found out he was still living with someone. That was you, wasn't it? I felt like my entire body locked up. I couldn't breathe. Wait. What are you saying? He proposed to someone else while he was engaged to me? Yes. Her name's Carla. She's in PR. They met at a networking event in Dallas. She had no idea he was taken. He told her he was between apartments. Said he was staying with a cousin temporarily. They dated for 8 months. He proposed in December. 8 months. I couldn't even process it. While we were planning our wedding, touring venues, building a guest list, he was proposing to someone else. I asked Nina if Carla would be willing to talk to me. She said yes. The next morning, I met Carla in the hotel lounge. She was beautiful, quiet, and very clearly still shaken by what had happened to her. We sat across from each other with coffees in our hands, and for a few moments, neither of us spoke. Then she reached into her purse and pulled out a photo on her phone. It was him. Smiling, down on one knee, holding out my grandmother's ring. He had taken my ring and proposed to another woman. I don't even know how I didn't throw up right then and there. Carla told me everything. How he'd come on strong. How she felt like he was her soulmate. How he told her all these stories about a messed up childhood, how he wasn't close to his family, how he was finally ready to settle down. She said yes, of course. Why wouldn't she? She never knew he was already engaged. To me. She found out the truth when she showed up at his apartment as a surprise, only to find my stuff everywhere. Photos of me on the fridge. My shoes by the door. My coat hanging in the closet. She left. Blocked him. Never spoke to him again. I was crying halfway through her story. She looked like she wanted to cry too. But we just sat there, broken in different ways, tied together by the same betrayal. After she left, I went back to my room and packed. I couldn't stay there anymore. The conference didn't matter. Work didn't matter. Nothing did. As I was about to leave, I got one more message. From a blocked number. All it said was, "I'm sorry. You didn't deserve this. I need help." I knew it was him. And I didn't reply. Because suddenly, I didn't even feel angry anymore. Just empty. I got on the first flight back to Austin and turned off my phone. But I have a feeling this isn't over. Not yet. I stayed quiet for 3 days. No calls. No texts. Nothing. I didn't go to work. I told my boss I had food poisoning and just needed to rest. The truth was I couldn't even get out of bed. I was humiliated, wrecked, confused, and honestly, ashamed. How did I not see any of it? How do you share a bed with someone for 5 years and miss all the signs? Then came the conference wrap-up gala in Austin, a networking dinner hosted by one of the industry boards. It was held at this swanky rooftop venue downtown. I wasn't planning on going, but a coworker texted and said Alex was listed as a panelist for a last-minute crisis PR discussion. It was about handling professional reputation in public scandals. I thought they were joking. But sure enough, he was on the lineup. The same man who cheated on 2 women, lied to his boss, kissed her at a conference, and got reported to HR, was now talking about integrity in crisis. I went. I wore a black dress, kept my hair down, and sat in the back. I didn't want to be noticed. I just wanted to hear what kind of BS he was going to spin. He got up on stage, clean-cut in a navy suit, and I swear to God he looked like he hadn't slept in days. And then he started talking. Sometimes, he said, voice smooth like a TED Talk, personal mistakes bleed into professional life. And when that happens, it's important to own the truth, make amends, and rebuild from a place of honesty. That was it. I lost it. I stood up. Loudly. Honesty? Are you serious? I said. Heads turned. The room went dead silent. He saw me. His face turned white. You want to talk about honesty, Alex? I said. Want to talk about how you proposed to 2 women with the same ring? Or how you kissed your boss while I was still wearing it? Someone gasped. Or maybe tell them how she threw you to HR to save her own job? Or how you begged me not to ruin your career, right after you ruined my life? He stood frozen. You want to talk about rebuilding? Start by telling the truth. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. The moderator tried to step in. Ma'am, this might not be, no, I said. I'm done being quiet. I walked out. Fast. Chest tight. Hands shaking. A few people followed me out. A couple I didn't even know. One woman patted my shoulder. Another whispered, "Good for you." One guy muttered, "What a jerk." The moment I stepped into the elevator, the tears came. I hadn't planned any of that. I thought I was over it. But hearing him up there pretending to be the victim, the wise one, trying to turn it into some career redemption story, while I was still putting myself back together, lit something in me. That was the confrontation I didn't know I needed. The immediate aftermath: the next morning, I got a call from Carla. She saw a video of the incident. Someone in the audience filmed it and posted it to a private Slack channel. She said she cried watching it. Said it gave her some closure too. Then came the texts from Alex. "You embarrassed me. You've ruined everything. I never meant to hurt you. I loved you." I didn't reply. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I finally realized he wasn't sorry about what he did. He was sorry he got caught. A mutual friend later told me his boss was officially fired. Alex was reassigned to a role with no team and no public profile. Basically sidelined. His reputation took a massive hit. No one wanted to work with him. And me? I quit my job a month later and took some time off. I stayed with my sister in Arizona for a while. Took long walks. Journaled a lot. Ate my feelings. Slowly, things got quieter inside my head. Resolution and reflection. It's been 5 months since that day in Chicago. Sometimes I still feel the sting. The grief. The betrayal. But not as often. I learned that love isn't always enough. That charm can be a mask. That trusting someone doesn't mean they deserve it. I also learned that I'm stronger than I thought. That speaking up, even when your voice shakes, matters. Alex reached out again 2 weeks ago. A long, apologetic email. Said he's in therapy now. That he finally sees what he did. That he wishes we could talk. I didn't respond. Because I don't owe him anything. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just done. And for the first time in a long time, I feel free. Healing isn't about forgetting. It's about no longer needing the apology.